It's been great, actually 2018 and 2019. So I handed on the title this past August, and the pageant experience itself was amazing, very busy because you're working on a different schedule and doing lots of traveling. You go from working a regular job to just now being on the go 24/7. And transitioning even like from just being a title holder to now being like my own person, that's been the best part because I'm remembered for my work as Miss United States, but also people are looking forward to what I'm bringing now, and that's really cool. No, it's so funny. I never saw a pageant before I did my first pageant. I know, isn't that crazy? Thinking back, I probably should have just to see like what it was going to be like, but I didn't think about that. So my mentor is like a mother figure to me, and I had just moved from Massachusetts area, New England, to the DC area where I live now. And she goes, it'll be a great way to make friends and mingle and just connect with a new environment. And I've always been really big into community service work, and pageants, that's a very big aspect and component of it. So I was like, why not? I was already, doing some freelance modeling, and it was a great way to kind of like tie in all the things that I enjoy about performing. So I did it, and my first time was like a little bit of a hot mess. I mean, that's what I would say now. My family said it wasn't a hot mess, but looking back now, I'm like, oh boy, I would have changed a few things. But I had so much fun, that process. It was just like a short window of time where you could better yourself in so many different areas. And then to see those results in just like whether it's public speaking, performing, more ways to get involved in service work, I felt like I had come so many light years with growth. So I kept doing it. And then when I competed for Miss United States last year, I was like, I'm seeing so much around, mental health, the Me Too movement, but like, what is the next step? And I'm like, I also have this background, this education in mental health. I think I should really use this platform to really bring in my profession and these other passions of mine. And then it really took off, and I think I really made the big connection at the pageant. The most important lesson I've learned on this journey is just being true to myself. Even though I had so much growth in pageant world, you're getting so much feedback from different coaches, people who just want it for you, your family, directors, and you have a whole team. A lot of girls who have a lot of success in the pageant world have a whole team backing them, and there's so many different opinions. And this last year was the first year I was like, I'm gonna wear what I want, I'm gonna say what I want, I'm gonna do what I want, and I felt so true to myself, and it really showed on stage. By the time I got to the pageant, I was just having fun, and that's what I really think showed. Mental health is such a broad term. I went to school for a number of years. It's a very long journey to become a licensed therapist. You go through years of schooling and then licensure and getting supervision hours, taking major exams. So last year I finally got my independent license. So if I wanted to practice independently or have my own practice one day, I could, and that was just such a major accomplishment. But what I learned also is just that in the midst of doing what I do a lot of work with people who have PTSD. And one of the bigger components that stop people from coming in is the stigma behind it. So that affects people with being able to come in and get help. That affects people with being able to look for resources or to even know what resources are available. And information is so scarce and so limited. So I just want to make it accessible for everyone. And even with the clients who I work with, I find that having a good practitioner or good providers is hard if you don't have the right income. So I just want to make sure that everyone can have equal access to what they need. Being an ambassador for the TIST Foundation, I think, has been one of the biggest opportunities that I've gotten as Miss United States. And what I really like about them is that they're all about empowering families in the States and here in Nigeria, families who are already in crisis, living in low-income areas, especially focusing on domestic violence survivors, even working with the girls up north who are taken by Boko. So it's all about this rehabilitation process. And they brought me on because I have this background in mental health as a provider, being able to work on curriculums to present, whether it's to women who I'm working with, whether it's to a school system, and they give me a lot of free reign in my expertise, and I'm being able to collaborate with so many other different professionals. So if anything, it's making sure that people have all their basic needs met, but also the second piece, which is how do I get better after overcoming this traumatic situation. How I plan to really raise awareness around mental health concerns here in Nigeria really ties back into the previous question on being Miss United States and tying that in with my work with the TIST Foundation. Being a public figure, I'm able to have a much larger platform. And so I have so many dreams outside of just Miss United States and entertainment and continuing to pursue my entertainment career that brings more notoriety, more popularity so that I can use that for a greater purpose. And so when people, look up to you and connect with you, they listen. And my goal is to find other similar public figures with a similar mindset of wanting to give back, to get them on an open platform to be able to open up not just mental health, but their emotional struggles as well. I think that if you can find someone who you can connect with and look up to being vulnerable and open and honest, it makes you feel less isolated. It makes you feel more at home. So that's the biggest thing that I want to do in terms of just getting word out there. But more importantly, this is not my home. I'm visiting here. So my biggest priority right now is really just to observe, just to learn the people, just to learn how people live. I think that sometimes we can jump into things too fast and just want to just wage change, but really sitting back and observing and learning your environment, that's so important too. I love entertainment so much. My father is a musician, a high life musician from Ghana, so I grew up around music my entire life. Grew up singing as a kid, but mostly got involved in musical theater. So from age 10 on, I've been performing in different plays and continued it all throughout middle school and high school and college and grad school. And then once I graduated, I found pageantry. So I feel like I've been on a stage for like my entire life in some way, shape, or form.